It was emotional at times, explosive at others as the nation watched the Kavanaugh hearings. Christine Blasey Ford says she is 100% it was Brett Kavanaugh who assaulted her more than 3 decades